What's up, everybody? Welcome to another stream of Latin Explaining. My name is Denise Gonzalez. For those who do not know me, for those who do, you guys know how we do it here. I see that there's some people here with me, so please hit that like button. And also, if you have not subscribed yet, it's time to do so. And a lot of people have been asking me why sometimes they don't get the notifications when I go live. Let me explain, you guys. In YouTube, even if you are subscribed, sometimes they are not going to let you know when I am live. So make sure that when you hit the bell for notifications, you press all. That way, whenever I go live, you will be notified that I'm alive. That way, you don't miss the live from the beginning, and you can enjoy all of my content. Now, I want to welcome Terrell, Michael, Jose, JS, everybody that's here. Welcome once again. I'm glad to start this show. It's been such a crazy week. You guys know I had this scheduled for Monday, but unfortunately, this week has been so hectic that, I had to postpone it, and I apologize for that. Okay. But we are back and we are on the pre social Thursday. Okay, so let's make it count. I see that Jay has said that he already has everything prepped. His pizza with chili, limon, and his Modelo so that he can watch the show. So follow his example. It's time to get your snacks, get your drinks, get your food, and just enjoy the show. And I want to thank you guys for letting me in your homes, all your devices, because I know there's 34 million options that you have on YouTube, and you chose to be here with me. So, without any further ado, you guys know how we do things here on Latin Explaining. Let's get the show started.
Take it to the next level.
Now, guys, I must say, let me tell you something. Do you guys remember when I said like 2 weeks ago that it was time to go out and flex our social muscles? If you guys remember when I said that, you know, put a number one in the chat, okay? When I was telling you guys it's time, to go out and flex our social muscles, I know I did. But let me tell you something, guys. I didn't tell you to go out and start wilding. I didn't tell you to go out and start overspending money. That's something I wanted to talk about because it has been crazy. The chat about this on my Twitter. I will share my Twitter eventually, guys. Not today, but I don't know if you guys have Twitter, but let me tell you something, guys. I see that Jose and JS are putting a number one. Yes, I told you guys to go out and have fun, but I didn't tell you guys to go out and overspend. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about. One of the things that has been a top of conversation today is revenge spending, guys. Yes, you heard me right. It's reverse revenge spending. I'm sorry. And I'm gonna explain you guys what this new term is. What is revenge spending and how to avoid it? It says no one expected a global pandemic to roll over the world like a giant tsunami, forcing everyone indoors with lockdowns and masks becoming the norm. But it did. Practically overnight, businesses shuttered, restaurants were forced to close, and any company that could operate remotely pivoted. All of a sudden, baking bread, making pizza, working in sweats, and ordering groceries online were front and center. And guys, I'm going to stop right here. Yes, I am guilty. I'm still doing my groceries online. I am not going to the grocery store because if many of you guys did not know, last year I got the C19 not once, but twice. And it was not a good experience. So I'm not planning to have it a third time. I don't know if I can even get it a third time. I think at this point, my body is like Thanos when it says the C19 because I've done some reckless stuff. And I'm healthy and nothing is happening. So probably my body already got used to it. I come from a barrio, so we're resistant anti anything. Okay. Now let's continue down what the news is saying. Basically, it says after more than a year of fear, rising death rates, and daily infection surges, there's some good news. C19 infection rates and deaths are down. The jab is rolling out, and the U.S. economy is opening back up. As restrictions continue to ease, many people are ready to toss caution to the wind and celebrate by splurging on anything and everything. This urge, commonly known as revenge spending, isn't unusual. In fact, revenge spending or revenge buying, it's also known has been found for decades. It dates back at least to the 80s when a post cultural revolution China opened up to luxury retailers and demand surge. So I'm going to explain you guys because I'm not reading all that stuff because I already read it, but I can do like a quick briefing on it for you guys. Let me tell you something. When we go, it's something about instant gratification about purchasing. I don't know if you guys remember the stream that I did when I explained if minimalism is the solution to a lot of our financial issues. um Also, it gives you such a instant gratification to actually go and spend your money on something that otherwise you wouldn't be able to obtain, like in times before. For example, if you couldn't go to, let's say, buy those candles, like myself, I'm gonna use me as an example. I love candles. I'm always burning a candle in my home. I don't know if you guys do it, but I love it. I love the lighting. I love everything. So probably from like 3 to like 11 p.m. I'm always burning a candle. And trust me, I cannot resist a good candle. Doesn't matter where they put it. That's what I'm guilty of. Okay. So don't come for me. Okay. However, I see that Jose, before we continue, Jose says, I don't blame, I got the C19 last year by surprise. Well, trust me, Jose, I'm glad you're still here with us. Like Jay has said, because I know, trust me, when I got it, I was a hot mess. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. You do not want to get it, so don't take it lightly because it is real. Okay. I had it, and you guys know I don't condone bullshit. If I didn't had it, or if the symptoms were like nothing bad, I wouldn't say anything, but they were the worst symptoms I have experienced in my life. Okay. And I've had the chikungunya. Okay. So come on. Anyway, back to our topic. So, for example, let's say last year, to me, one of the challenges that I had is that I was forced to purchase candles from Walmart. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever compare like good candles to Walmart candles. We're not talking about the same candles, okay? So do not come for me. If you like Walmart candles, more power to you. I'm not coming for you. It's just not my particular liking. I don't know. To me, they smell different, and it smells synthetic to me. So I love a good, mahogany, a little teak wood, cedar wood, all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't smell the same in Walmart. But I was forced to purchase those because otherwise I would have continued with my irrational uh, need for a candle. So I had to settle for those candles. And also, the Target candles are semi decent, but still kind of the same. And now, when the world reopened and I was able to go to these stores and purchase the candles that I wanted, oh my God, guys, it's something that it gives you. So I'm using my example, but I did splurge a little bit. I went and bought 7 candles in a row, and that, when I was driving home, I was still excited, but I realized it was not a smart idea. And I had to check myself before I continued to do this. So basically, that's what is called revenge spending, because we were so restricted at some point by any circumstance to spend our money. We can go out now and do it in like such a measured way that can put us in a financial situation that is not pretty. Okay. So you have to, start coming back to your senses. I get it. we were locked in. Okay, I know what it feels. I know your frustration to just do your hair and your nails, your makeup, and buy all those cute outfits for your living room. I know that. Okay, I know what it is that last year we started very excited with all the wine, saying, oh, I'm lounging and whatnot, and by this time last year we were already sick of being in the house. I know that. Okay. It's your secret and mine, and I'll keep it. Okay. But we have to go back to normal. And one of the things that we have to embrace is in normalcy is restraint and structure. And that also includes the way we spend our money. So, right now, I know people are trying to make it look cute. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter romanticizing the revenge spending. But in all seriousness, guys, don't be like me. Don't buy those 7 candles. You only need one or two, okay? Because you're not going to burn that whole candle in a day. Okay. Now, like I said, guys, it's something that you're going to see it. It's going to continue. People are going to go crazy over things. A lot of things are even out of stock in stores at this point. And to be honest with you, it's not time to do that. I've seen also people doing like this crazy travels and, going to different places and like crazy numbers and spending money and like going out, having a lot of drinks and doing all this stuff, going back to normal in your normal life before the C19, you would never be able to do that because you know better, okay? So we have a shortage even at Starbucks. And trust me, I did my due diligence. I bought me an espresso and I do my coffee there. I drink my espresso at home. That's another thing that I'm saving because I need my coffee. Otherwise, you guys will never see another episode of Latin Explaining. Okay. Because without my coffee, I cannot function. And but what to back to the revenge spending, guys. We're seeing that, and I hate to say it, but we're seeing the same thing we saw 100 years ago. If you guys go to 100 years ago, when in 1921 the world finally declared that they tackled down the previous pandemic that we had with the influenza, we had the roaring 20s, and that's what eventually made the economy collapse, because a lot of people started overproducing things based on the splurging that a lot of people gave themselves into, like a frenzy of purchasing things because you wanted instant gratification because of whatever issues you did not work with your mind while on lockdown, that you need that, pre-digested dopamine, I would like to call it that, which is the brain food that makes you feel good. um so because you want all those feelings instantly without the, having to do, you know not being able to do all these things, and we want to just have it now and have it in massive quantities, we're doing the exact same thing. And if you guys know what followed the roaring 20s, was what I'm gonna ask you guys, if you guys know what happened after the roaring 20s. Okay, I see that Morena is here. Hi, Morena. And Michael Ruiz said, coffee is life. Okay, trust me, coffee is life. Me without coffee, my God. Let me tell you something, guys. I have this Nespresso, right? And I found, uh, why people continue to answer, I found this Cuban cortadito. And I'm from Puerto Rico. I get it. Our coffee is excellent. I'm not taking anything away from it. If you have not tried Puerto Rican coffee, honey, nothing tastes better like Puerto Rican coffee. Not even the Cuban coffee. The thing is that Cuban coffee still tastes very good But for some odd reason, you can't go to sleep for 3 days. So you're more productive. If you want that pick me up and you feel sluggish, and I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm telling you the truth. If you have like a special project, if you're working with deadlines like I am right now, if you are swimming in paperwork that you have to submit and a lot of stuff, buy yourself some café fuerte cubano, some cortadito, drive yourself to your favorite Cuban bakery and drink their coffee and thank me later. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I see that a lot of people started replying, I'm sorry. And Michael Ruiz said, isn't that basically what led to the crash of 29 and the eventual Great Depression? Exactly. Because I see the Sundown also said the Great Depression. Guys, you guys are, I don't even know when you guys listen to me. You all know what I'm talking about. But basically, like I was saying, this whole splurging 100 years ago, what it created is that a lot of people were overspending, depleting their little savings they had left after that pandemic. I know I depleted mine. Come on. So, instead of living in austerity to actually replenish that fund, like many of us is right now, trying to cut corners from wherever we can so that we can put back the money that we used last year, a lot of people, what they are doing is that they're overspending like it happened 100 years ago. So companies started producing a lot of stuff because there was a high demand. And every time you produce things, you have to spend money, but you have the expectation of sales. So when people started depleting their money, and for many other complicated reasons that I'm not gonna go over, if you know, you know. If you don't, it's time you read about this. I see that Justin Trouble is here, and Smoothie and Blood Moon. Hi, hi. How are you guys? Welcome very much. It's nice to have you guys here. Hit that like button, please. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Now let's go back to what we were saying. um when that happened, people could not buy at the same level they used to. Companies started losing money. A lot of them had to close down, fire people, and without the money that was flowing all around, a lot of companies collapsed. And because they collapsed, the job market also collapsed. And that's what led to a lot of people desperate to feed their families. Central Park was a hot mess. A lot of areas in the United States were a hot mess. Families were disintegrated. A lot of things happened during Great Depression. I don't know if you guys have read about it, but it was not, it was one of the darkest chapters of this nation. Now, I would say that, you guys need to take a step back. Like I said before, I know I did. I swear and I promise I only have two candles, one that is burning as we're speaking, and another one in the drawer, in the candle drawers. But to be honest with you guys, it's time to take a step back. I get it. It happened, but I would recommend go for a swim, take a Zumba class, go to the gym. Those are things that I feel have helped me. Sometimes I just go out in my balcony and just look and start like sunbathing and feeling nature around me and whatnot, because it's the only way we're gonna get that gratification. Also exercise a lot, because when we exercise, we release endorphins and it makes us also feel good. It makes us feel more attractive. It makes us feel more productive, and it will set the tune for us not to go into this frenzy and actually save money and make smarter decisions when it comes to our finances. So, guys, let's not. We already read about the Great Depression. We know about the Roaring Twenties. We know about the excess that the U.S. was in. And my recommendation to you, I've been, come on, I've been here since April. And I've been telling you guys, this is the time to start selling something, because a lot of people are not going to listen to me. And that's something that I'm sharing with you for free. A lot of people, unfortunately, are not going to listen to what I'm saying, and are not going to listen to what a lot of people are saying about this overspending. So definitely, you guys want to start selling something, either a service, a product, whatnot, because of course you're going to make revenue out of this whole revenge spending, and it can work to your benefit. Think about it. I know I thought about it. So definitely it's, a very good opportunity to actually, you know, start a business, even if it's a small one, sell whatever you can or whatever service that you can, and actually make money, because people right now are just going into, like I said, a frenzy, and they just want to spend that money they could not spend for almost 2 years. Okay. Because I don't want to freak you out, but in 5 months, 2020 will be 2 years ago. Okay. So I don't want to freak you out, but come on now. It's time for us to act right. We had a whole year inside the house. People got divorced, some people got married, some people got, engaged, some people decided it was time to find that special boo because they understood what being alone meant. You know what I'm saying? We had a whole year of that. So it's time for us to go back to normal, enjoy yourself. And like I said, it's time for us to exercise, myself included, because it's the only thing that's going to make us focus and stop. Because I've said this before, energy without focus is chaos. And we don't want to go into that. Now, moving from the revenge spending, you guys know that I did a special video this Sunday that was speaking about the issues in Cuba. And you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, of course, you guys know that many things have transpired since I did that video and today. Okay, we had Michael Reese. Yes, a lot of people, are finding their boo now after, the C19. Terrell says, I'm still single. Terrell, come on now, boy. Start asking ladies out. You're going to get a shitload of no's, but you're going to get a yes. And if she's not gracious, do not pay for dinner. Thank me later. Sundown says, single is great, Terrell. Well, not always, but you never know. Now, I mean, if it works for you and the market does not serve you, yes, Sundown is completely right. But if you find yourself feeling lonely and you think you're ready to have that special someone, then it's time to flex those muscles too and be able to be rejected and, go out looking great, smelling great, go find that special someone. She or he is out there somewhere. Look at that. Someone says lies, Denise. No, really, really. You think it's not true? It is true. You can just go out, look good, smell good, but like I said, guys, do not let these ladies take advantage of you. If she's not gracious, do not pay for that dinner. Now, radical. Oh my god, radical says, Terrell, hit up random girls on Instagram and see who bites. And that's just, dude. Oh my god, I swear, there's a little ratchet talk that lives inside of radical Latino. That's such like douchebag behavior, but Smoothie says, feeling lonely is not a good reason to get in a relationship. That is absolutely true. I agree with you on that one. You need to assess first why you feel the need to fill a void with just whatever. But what I mean by like lonely, it's like if you realize, hey, I have to change my ways because I need somebody in my life to share my life with and to love and to appreciate and, witness as I get old. Yeah. So definitely, yeah. But if you are feeling just desperate, Smoothie is 100% right. You should go to therapy and get an exorcism in the way. Okay. Now I see that Michael Ruiz said when Rad goes on a date, he talks about how white supremacy affects us all. Oh my God. Let's go back to the whole situation with Cuba, guys. In all seriousness now, I know the combo is really good, but um, right now, Cuba, for those who follow me on Instagram, you guys know I've been posting like crazy about it. And when people continue to protest, right? They started uprising, turning police cars. A lot of police, a lot of the Policía Cubana decided to join the movement and actually support the protesters. Let me tell you that. I've never seen that in the history of Cuba in my lifetime. But, definitely a lot of the force is actually joining the Cuban community and the protestants in this movement that they're doing in this uprising. And definitely, you guys know that the Cuban president decided to basically threaten the public that they are still going to go out and that these people are just anti-revolutionaries and whatnot. And basically he just said that he was going to do whatever it took, and he was ready to die, and everybody that was in his military force was willing to die for what they believe in, basically threatening the people. And let's not forget that in Cuba, you cannot have weapons like here, that your Second Amendment gives you the right to bear arms. So, what they're going to defend themselves with? Now, I believe it was Tuesday, they were reporting that the missing people, the detained people, numbers are staggering. They're in the hundreds. They're in the almost 2,000 today, I believe. And they are opening fire in Cuban protestants right now. Okay. A lot of people has died already. It's been very bloody. And I will not share images that I have found. But let me tell you something, guys. It's a very grim image. It's nothing I wish on anybody. And like I said, it's just something out of this world. And I'm going to share it again, guys, because you guys know that we have to send as much help as we can. And, at least I can just say that because there's nothing else we can do. Now, something that I wanted to share that was very crazy to me. If you guys have heard about the US embargo on Cuba, put a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 in the chat if you have ever heard that term. That's the excuse that constantly we get told in Cuba when it comes to sending things like medicine, food, and goods. Now, I want to read to you guys what happened yesterday. I believe, was it yesterday? I think it was either Tuesday night or yesterday. It says Cuba lifts customs restrictions on food and medicine after biggest protest in decades. Now, I'm going to tell you something, guys. To be honest with you, this whole situation now has shown us that the true embargo, if it was, you know, something that the US did, then how come the Cuban uh, regime was able to lift these restrictions? How now they're going to sell us this lie about the embargo? How are they going to sell us now the lie that nothing could reach Cuba because of the US? So it's like, now I'm very thankful that they did this, and I'm so proud of Cubans right now for what they are doing, because like I said, now your president, if there's any Cuban listening to me, now your president is trying to throw a cookie at the Protestants to see if they can just chill out with a little bribery. And I would say to any Cuban right now, keep going, okay, till y'all free. Because if you guys have never met Cubans that come directly from the island, if you have never been to Cuba, this government has been literally starving Cubans for 62 years, okay? Cubans, I remember when I was growing up, a lot of Cubans used to land in Puerto Rico, and these people were like on the bone, skinny, okay? Because they really had nothing. They were starved. So how can you starve your people on purpose for 62 years? Now the lie has been taken away. We don't believe you guys anymore. Now we know it's only you guys doing this on purpose because you want something and you want to stay in power and control the people. But we see through your lies. We see through you guys' lies in the Cuba the Cuban regime and its president. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of the news reported by CNN. It says Cuba announced on Wednesday it was temporarily lifting restrictions on travelers bringing food, medicines, and hygiene products into the country in an apparent acknowledgement of demands from anti government demonstrators. Thousands took to the streets across the island nation last weekend to protest chronic shortages of basic goods, curbs on civil liberties, and the government's handling of a worsening C-19 outbreak, marking the most significant unrest in decades. The rare wave of demonstrations against the country's communist government has been fanned by a deepening economic crisis worsened by the pandemic. C-19 has devastated the country's tourism industry, sending Cuba's economy into the deep slump. This is what I mean when I told you guys on the SOS Cuba is that there was a point during the lockdown and in this whole pandemic situation that they didn't even have soap. So these protests are nothing new. They started in 2020. A lot of people outside of La Habana were protesting that they didn't have soap in the middle of a pandemic. They didn't have water in the middle of a global pandemic that demands that you wash yourself, the germs away. So it's like I said, it's so insane that this is happening. And like I said, I'm excited for the people of Cuba. I know a lot of life is going to be lost for them to actually free themselves. We know that, and that is the sad part about this. But we must continue. We must continue to support and to help. And before I move into the next topic, guys, I want to remind y'all that if you're sending any help to Cuba, you can actually send it through cell either to Laura Marrero. You can find her at Laura underscore Marrero on Instagram, or to her cell at 786-805-7164. That is her cell. Also, she sends medicine to Cuba. And if you want to donate funds, you can do it to cell as well to cubanospalante@gmail.com. But make sure you do not use the words Cuba or Cubans, because they say they lifted the embargo. We don't know if this is true. All I'm saying is, like, be cautious and still put palante, okay? Now, before we go into this whole main topic, guys, I want to say that it's been crazy to see how many people are actually supporting the Cuban community. And I want to thank everybody that actually liked this video, shared the information and whatnot. You know, there's a lot of people that have been watching the SOS Cuba, and a lot of people have reached out to me to actually send them more information about how they can send help. So I want to thank you guys for doing that, because it's something that, you know, helps our people move forward and actually get the help they need right now when they're in such a horrible situation. And I also want to add that in the middle of all this crisis, there is a Cuban influencer, Dina Stars, has been also detained while she was on a live stream with a TV show in Spain. She was literally having an interview with them and explaining them the situation that was happening in Cuba. And at that exact moment, apparently somebody was watching, or they're really watching things. And you guys know that the government actually shut down the internet and has taken away phones and turned off all kinds of communications so that they cannot continue to say what's happening in the island. And she was still doing it. So they detained her. And at this point, we don't know where she's at and her whereabouts, or nothing about her condition. She said before she left that she made responsible the government for whatever can happen to her. I will keep you guys posted. If you don't know who Dina Stars is, go to her Instagram, follow her so that you can know her journey. And eventually, and I hope we can have her back and she is completely unharmed. Okay. Now, those has been the news for today. Let's move into The main topic, guys, the main topic for today is time to clean the barrio. How many of you guys, and I want to you guys to just, before I start this, I'm going to say something. Please do not come for me because of what I'm saying and whatnot. If you disagree with me, just simply come back with your opinion and click it on the description below in the comment section, and that is completely fine. There's no need to attack me and leave me something nasty simply because I'm ruffling your feathers in the wrong way with my opinion. It's just my opinion. I'm just one in 34 million YouTube content creators, and you can pick any other one of those if you don't like what I say. Now, back to it's time to clean the barrio. Guys, how many of you guys have known or heard the term gentrification? Now, for those of you guys, if you guys have heard the term gentrification, put a heart in the chat. Put a heart in the chat if you have heard the term gentrification at some point in your life. Okay. I know I have, you know. Now I'm going to explain very, in a very quick way what gentrification is, okay? So basically, what gentrification is, in an essay accompanying the study, Sabija Prince of Empowered DC highlights the importance of community activism to effectively address these challenges. Gentrification, notes Prince, a policy driven process that begins with targeting low income urban communities for discrimination and neglect and ends with quote unquote improvements that exacerbate vulnerabilities that culminate in displacement. To respond, Prince adds, requires working with directly affected residents in order to build their capacity for leadership by harnessing their collective power and fostering self confidence. Now, as you guys may know, the term gentrification often comes with look at radical Latino with his white heart. I see that a lot of people have actually heard about it and put a heart in the chat. But yes, guys, basically, these are communities that are very impoverished somehow, and they get targeted by being extremely poor or in poor conditions or in even rat infested or with any other, you know, sabandija infested. And basically, what the counties do is that they target that community, so eventually they start pouring money into this and start improving the area. But when they start improving that area, the prices for rent and mortgages balloon into a price that the people that actually lived there before the improvements can no longer afford it. Therefore, they have to move somewhere else. Okay. So basically, this has happened to so many people that eventually I can talk for myself. I've been living in a place that was not so bad, but in the middle. Of course, I'm not wealthy. So they built this whole new stadium around us. And now the prices of rent 3 years ago were completely different than they were today. So, of course, you know, we love the stadium is here. We know that we're close to, now better views and better things. But there's a lot of people that used to live around me that are not here anymore. And that is called gentrification. So, definitely, it's something that must be tackled. But a lot of people often say we have to, address the situation by activism or protesting or rent control measurements and whatnot. And I'm here to tell you that that's some bullshit. Okay. I see that the only JS says it's near 2,000 a month now where I used to live. Yeah, it's almost, trust me. You're mirroring my experience, okay? I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that used to live here that I have not seen those fuckers anymore. Okay, I see completely different people here from all demographics. This is now no longer what it used to be 6 or 7 years ago. It's completely different. So I would say that people need to understand something. When you come from a background like our backgrounds, you don't have the best access to financial literacy nor wealth. So of course you're gonna end up in a barrio, like all of us. You're gonna end up in a barrio. You're gonna grow up in a barrio, and some people even die in different barrios. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you Right now that we are going through massive gentrification and people are being pushed out to worse and worse neighborhoods, that's you need to start looking at things in a different way. You need to stop looking at it as a bad situation, because that's often what will make you be gentrified in 15 years from now. What you have to do is understand, hey, I'm being gentrified and this is the last time this is going to happen to me. How do we make it stop? It's very simple. Go to the fucking barrio they're sending you now that it's cheaper. Purchase a property in the barrio that for 20, 30, 40, $70,000 and make it look good. Make the surroundings look good. Talk to your neighbors and do the same. Offer some help. Look for ways where you can do the freaking patios, where you can better the fences, where you can invest money. That's how you build a community. And it doesn't stop there, guys. You guys can make this part of passive income. And I'm going to explain how. You buy a group of houses in these nasty barrios that right now a lot of people are being pushed into. You purchase a cheap property there, and when you do so, you make it look good. You talk to your neighbors and you help them out, and you start street by street making it look better. And what you guys do is that you don't stay there. You sell it and take the equity with you and purchase another trashy barrio and make it a collective business with a group of people. It could be your friends, your family. I do not care. But I'm so tired of us approaching gentrification with protests and activism. It's not going to work. Unfortunately, they're still going to build and urbanize certain areas, and the prices are going to go up. That's called inflation. And we have to have a better reaction to it and some resistance. Nobody can come to your neighborhood, make it look better, and sell it back to you with inflated prices if you do it first. It's time for us to stop reacting. And it's something that I was talking to my fiance this week. I was like, I'm so tired of people's feelings. I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm so tired. I get it. You feel, I feel. I'm a woman. I even feel more than many of y'all. But fuck your feelings. I feel, I feel, I feel, I feel, I feel. I'm so tired of that. I've been tired of that for a while. I know you feel bad. I know you feel pushed out. I know you feel like, angry. I know you feel even some nostalgia because you wanted to be in that neighborhood, but you can't afford it. And it's time for you to stop being reactive and stop like, oh, well, we're gonna protest this and this is what they're doing to us and whatnot. I'm not saying they're not doing this shit to you. They are. You know what they're doing this because you're not doing it, and somebody's gonna profit. And if it's not you, then it's gonna be somebody else. That's just how life works. And unfortunately, I didn't make the rules. It's not my fault. It's just how the world functions. And it's like I said, it's time for us to actually start making things for ourselves and clean the barrio. Because one of the things that can be helped is, how many of you guys, I want to ask you guys, how many of you guys have seen a lot of people in the barrio being the trashiest motherfuckers on earth, throwing trash outside? And I'm not talking about a little piece of paper. No, it's like boxes of burgers, bags of Jack in the Box, full blown cans, cigarette boxes and all this stuff. How about what? You don't do that in Beverly Hills. You don't do that in Fifth Avenue, but then you come to it in your own neighborhood. And that's why the neighborhood looks like crap. There's a lot of people. I've gone to these neighborhoods. Come on, when I first came here, I came here with $500 and I had to live in South Central. If y'all are not from California and you've never seen South Central, Google it, okay? Google it, because that's where I ended up. And let me tell you something. Something that pissed me off a lot is, what's with the dog poop? Y'all, if you have a dog, I don't like dogs. That's just my preference. I like cats because cats take care of their own dumps. Okay. They bury that shit. Dogs don't. So if you have a dog, that's your baby. Nobody chose to have that baby. And nobody, absolutely nobody, wants to see your baby's droppings all over when they're walking down the sidewalk. If nobody told you before, I am telling you now. Pick that shit up. No pun intended. Okay. It's time for people to start cleaning up. It's time to scrub the barrio. I don't want to hear no more excuses. I don't want to hear no can do, no sir. They're pushing us out. They're taking this away. No, you are giving it away by being in this stagnant position when you're enjoying your barrio dirty life. Instead of making it look good, motivating others to look good and start selling that shit, buying it again, and making generational wealth while you still work your 9 to 5 jobs. Miss me with the bullshit. So it's like I said, a lot of people do not understand how things work in this country, and it's time for us to stop complaining about capitalism and taking advantage of the little things that we can actually do with it. Like I said before, when we were talking about the X's and the roaring 20s that we're now in and the revenge spending, how about you take some revenge gentrification and clean the barrio? How about we just make it happen? How about you just start selling something? How about you start just making your barrio look like it's good? How about you start making yourself feel at home? Start planting flowers, start watering things, cleaning the sidewalk. If nobody, oh, the county has not come here to do the grass, do it yourself with a group of neighbors, because your neighborhood needs to look good. Stop leaving things up to the government. That's how they keep us poor. It's time for us to actually make a business out of this. And when everybody has sold the street, the complete street, for inflated prices because it looks good, guess what? You guys are another barrio making another profit. And you live in those flips until you make enough money to stay in one. Nobody can gentrify you at that point. So come on. I see that Radical Latino says Denise sounds like a Wendy's manager scolding her employees for not performing. Radical, you're a bastard. But it is true. It is true. I'm telling you. He says also in New York City, they fine you $500 if you don't pick up your dog stuff. Yeah, in here, that happens in Beverly Hills and in other areas like Manhattan Beach and whatnot. But here in my city, it doesn't happen. And the one thing you can do, it's definitely why you don't go to your mayor's office and ask the mayor, yo, I need this to be fine in my community. And you start stapling that shit. That's it, because that's more money even for your community, for your county. Radical said, I used to throw trash bags out my window. Jesus Christ, Radical. Stop, man. And then he says, damn, the knees broke it down is actually doable. Yeah. To be honest with you, you definitely this is doable. What I'm talking about is not something out of this world. You can actually move to a trash house, make it look good, bring family or friends to invest in that same community, even if it looks like trash, make it look better, make sure everything is clean, and then start selling it to people. Eventually one of you can get into real estate and actually be the one that sells that, and make even more money out of the commissions. It's like I said, it's about the way we address things with our mindset. And that is the problem that most of us have. Most of these problems are solvable. We hold the solution in our hands. It's just that a lot of times we just want to drink the Kool-Aid and watch too much media and are too lazy many of the times, that we do not want to do the things that are needed in order for us to look better. That's something that my father taught me. I grew up in a barrio. For most of you guys know that, I've been telling you guys this for a while. And he believed in that. He said, I'm going to build a 5-bedroom house in the barrio because why not? So I'm not preaching you something that I've not seen done. And then my uncle joined him. And then my aunt joined him with her husband. And they have a little nice community in the barrio. Now, if they want to sell it, they can sell it for more. But they decided, yo, we live in the middle of a mountain. We're good. So it's like I said, why are we not taking advantage of the situations we're put in? It's time for you to understand that the world doesn't give a shit about your feelings. You can feel pushed out and sad and nostalgic, but that ain't gonna take you nowhere. So I'm going to I don't understand. Smoothie said yeah, to radical, your mind is polluted and you're spreading it. And the radical, come on, radical. Come on. So, like I said, guys, I don't want to hear any more excuses. I don't want to continue to have to say this. And the fact that we even have to say this, that we have to say to grown folk, clean your surroundings, hold other people accountable. If you see a neighbor walking down their dogs and they're pooping, ask the neighbor to pick it up. How about that? And you explain the same thing that I'm explaining to you, to your neighbor. And if they don't understand it, well, you pick it up and leave it in their front porch. How about that? Every morning. And if they complain, well, there's nothing they can do. So, anyway, guys, before I let people in, I'm going to go into intermission. But before that, I want to tell you guys to follow me on Instagram, denise.gonzalez.villegas1, for you to watch all the things that sometimes I don't have the time to make videos on because there's a lot of things happening in Latin America and here in the Latin diaspora in the United States. So if you follow me on Instagram, we can stay in touch and talk about them, and you can actually become aware of those things when you follow me on Instagram. Now, I will share the link with you guys. Give me 1 second, because I know there's people that are going to get sensitive about this. And I know there's people that are going to agree with me because they never saw it through that perspective. But like I said, either if you get sensitive about it or not, if you agree with me or not, I literally will still say the same thing because it's something that needs to be said and I had to go there. Okay. A friend is not a person that tells you and agrees with everything you do. A real friend tells you the truth even when it hurts. So I have to say it, guys, and I'm going to share the link now. Everybody that joins in, you guys know I go into intermission for a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. And when we are back, we will be back with everyone's thoughts. So make sure you grab your snacks, your drinks, and whatnot, and let's enjoy the discussion. See you guys in a few minutes. It's 4:49 where I'm at. I'm going to be back at 4:54. So you have 5 minutes to do what you need to do and then come back. we are back. We are back. We are back, people. I hope you guys got comfortable, went to the bathroom, and actually get your snacks. Now, before I let Jose and Terrell in, I want to remind you guys that the views and the statements of the guests do not necessarily represent those of the channel and or those of the panel members, as some comments may be offensive to select groups of people. Also, I want to remind you guys that by calling into the live show, you waive your rights to the use of your image and likeness for the purposes of this show. Now, let's get the discussion started. How are you, Jose? What's up, Terrell?
Hey Denise, how you doing?
Good.
Good evening, guys. How was everybody today?
Oh,
I'm
great.
good. I'm good, good, good. Very happy to start and end this week, even though mine will end Saturday, but still end this week.
Hmm.
So only 2 more days. So I am excited. And also, like, I know you guys, I have been a little absent, but I'm back. Now, what do you have on the topic, Jose?
Okay, well, I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet because he did talk a lot.
Yeah,
First of all, as far as the overindulgent spending, um, we have to learn to live within our means. Okay, there's nothing wrong with spoiling ourselves once in a blue moon. It gets to be a problem when you're using the rent money to indulge. That's a problem.
yep,
And we all know what happened in the Roaring Twenties, and we all know what happened, in 1929. Okay.
definitely, definitely.
As far as the cleaning up the barrio, excuse me, I'm just having some lemonade. Um, the fact of the matter is, we need to value where we live. Unfortunately, the problem is the reason why I left El Barrio. Because first of all, I live in NYCHA in a NYCHA development. If anybody in New York City knows what it's about, I mean, there are some developments where the people do take care of the building and they do try to keep the building clean and respectable and what have you. Unfortunately, a lot of tenants treated the stairways and the elevators like toilets,
That's what
and
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
people didn't bother to pick up the dog poop. Now in Parchester, if you try to do that crap, you're gonna get hit with a summons.
Right? That's what I'm
Yes,
talking
okay.
about.
And as far as wanting to buy your own place in New York City, there's various different programs when you could become a first-time homeowner. If you go into the city website, nyc.gov, and you go into the section where it says the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, there are programs when you can actually get a down payment grant to buy your own place. Okay, and it could be for to put down the down payment for the property, or it could be for the closing costs, because anyone that bought property, they know that the closing cost is going to be anywhere from 5 to 7% of the sale price.
Yeah.
So there are mechanisms out there um, to help people to buy their own home. Now, for those who want to rent, I mean, there's things you can do. When my mother was alive, she participated in what's called the tenant patrol. Basically, what we had tenants who stood there in the lobby. Anybody who wanted to gain entrance into the apartment, they had to sign in and they had to sign out. So they're able to keep some sort of control over what's going on in the buildings. So these are things that people can do. People can form a tenant patrol just to make sure that their building is safe. But the question is, do people want to get involved or they just want to pass the buck?
Definitely. And not only that, Jose, it's the fact that we have to start building a sense of community.
Yes.
And when people trash neighborhoods, it's because they don't feel like they belong. And that's something that has been lost. The sense of belonging, that's what's making people be in disregard of the things that they use. In the past, when people felt like they belong more to these places and whatnot, they were not like this. Even small towns were upkept, and little barrios were kept better. But if you go back to the 50s and the 60s, yes, you still had some sort of disorder and whatnot, but not like today. Today you have people doing their biological waste in public places in neighborhoods. Okay. So definitely, that's the first thing to tackle. And like I said, if you grab a group of 10 family members or friends or classmates or coworkers that say, hey, let's just buy 10 houses or 20 houses that's a street, and let's make it look good, you can sell them for a better price. Especially if you keep spreading the word, it's something that can be done. If you fix a whole street and then you get the other street involved, and then the other one, and then the other one, and then the other one, and you keep doing it. And then some people, there was a person that told me when I first presented this idea to him, I was like, nobody wants to go live in Oklahoma. And I was like, nobody wants to go live in Oklahoma. I'm going to say something that, like I said, everybody sit down, okay? Because what I'm going to say is it's going to shock some people. You have fucking Oklahoma money. If you have fucking Oklahoma money, you're gonna live in fucking Oklahoma. Or you're gonna live in a tent in the place you intend to live in because you're not gonna be able to afford it. So if you have Oklahoma money, get the fuck out of New York or California and go to Oklahoma. That's your reality and you have to adjust to it.
Yes. If I may add, now 3.5 years ago, when I purchased my 2-bedroom apartment, I bought it for $190,000. Now, if you want a 2-bedroom apartment in Rochester, be prepared to spend at least minimal 260 to maybe 300,000
You
for
know
the
how
same
much?
for
You
the
want to know how
same.
much a house here? Look, in the 70s, the houses here were like $70,000. In the 80s, they were like 82,000. You want to know how much they are today? Here, when I first moved to this neighborhood, houses were still in the 240, 300,000 and whatnot. Today, not the best looking house, of course. They're going to cost you anywhere from 479,000 to 610,000. That's my neighborhood today. That's why I don't see a lot of people that I used to see before. So it's like I said, nobody has 600,000 or 500,000 to actually put into a home that is not a specific demographic. But if the people that were here before, instead of just selling things at a cheaper price or let the bank foreclose that property, they should have definitely improved it and make it work. Take the
True.
equity with them.
I remember back in the 90s, um, in Harlem, you can purchase brownstones for almost no money, but all you had to do was fix it up. Now I hate to imagine how much those brownstones in Harlem are worth now.
Hmm. It's insane. It's insane. I'm gonna move to Terrell.
Mhm.
Terrell, what do you have on the topic?
Well, I are familiar with gentrification because I heard stories about it on different YouTube channels and research, and I also know about how housing prices are going up in the country. Because one of the states with the most expensive housing is states like Hawaii, California, New York, and Washington D.C. That area, because they're one of the higher cost of living over there, and most people don't live in houses. A lot of them live in buildings and apartments because houses is like over $1 million, and even public housing doesn't help. And if you're on minimum wage, it doesn't even cover the rent. So a lot of people be on government welfare and time it's just to get by day with their living. And gentrification that normally happens in low income rundown neighborhood that minorities live in, and normally happen when, let's say, an area that is populated by black people where white people used to live in. The black people stay in that neighborhood, then white folks are coming back to retake that neighborhood because a lot of them are left and went to live into the country or other places. Because once that area become more black and brown, they leave out, and then years later they want to retake it if it's possible. And then they want to start building up houses, fixing roads, putting up Starbucks and veggie places, smoothie stores, people walking outside middle of the night and early in the morning, walking their dogs. And that when they want to fix things up and then raise prices on taxes and mortgages and get the people who live in there to move out and start bringing new people in. And as soon as the new people bring in, they becoming a problem to the residents. They start calling the police and washing them, especially these Karens. Basically, they become a nuisance just to get you to leave so they can bring more of their people in. And it's been happening all over the country. I heard that Houston, Durwood is being gentrified. They said Buckhead in Atlanta being gentrified. And I think where is Harlem and maybe Bronx is being gentrified. Maybe Bronx, I'm not too sure, but it happened all over the country where they've been doing this to black neighborhoods and they be doing it everywhere. And I feel like this is illegal, and I should feel like the people need to step in and challenge this in court where they won't be able to do this because I think this is
But
illegal and ain't the right
but
thing to do. They put
Terrell,
some
but
people out of their
Terrell,
homes.
that's precisely what I'm doing this show. This is no
Yes.
one's fault, and we can no longer continue blaming uh white folks for all the things that happen to us. I get that gentrification is not cool, but we let it happen to us by staying inactive and trashing our own neighborhood. Because if we will make our neighborhoods look better ourselves, now, like I said, for example, there's a new opportunity. You're being pushed to a trashy neighborhood. Give yourself 2 years of improvements in your house and on your streets. Keep it clean and sell it for a higher price. You gentrify your own zone. That's what I'm talking about. We cannot keep blaming people and trying to protest things from happening because we're not doing the work that's needed. Because I've seen a lot of white folks in their neighborhoods actively seeing who comes in, who throws trash, who leaves the poop. They're very diligent on keeping their neighborhoods clean.
Oh
We
yes,
are
you're right.
not. We're not doing the work.
Yeah, Denise, I do feel like it's our fault because we didn't clean up, we didn't keep an eye on it, we ran it down, and we don't go to these council meetings or to whoever to complain about the problems. We just sat there and let it happen instead, picking up and cleaning after ourselves. And I do believe
Definitely,
that
definitely. I've seen
we could
the
do
people that
more.
I see throwing trash, it's mostly black and brown. It's us, ourselves, trashing our own neighborhood. The people that I see just letting their dogs poop all over is
Oh
mostly black and
my.
brown. So it's up to us. I don't see, I have yet to see why people come to black and brown neighborhoods to throw trash and let their dogs take a dump in our streets. It's us, the ones doing this.
Oh no.
It's us doing this type of stuff. I'm gonna move to Rakim. I'm gonna mute you a little bit, Terrell. Rakim, welcome. By the way, thank you for that donation, Rakim. Thank you very much. And for anybody that wants to donate to support this channel, the catch up is on the screen. Thank you very much to the guys and the girls that actually donate to support my channel. You guys know I use it for equipment and for all the graphics that I have to invest in to bring you guys the best quality possible. Now, Rakim, welcome to the show. How are you?
How you doing today? How's everybody on the show?
I'm good, good, good. What do you think about what we're talking about?
I think you're 100% correct. I believe, I just want to touch on something you said earlier, what you were saying that unfortunately, of course, a lot of us go through things where we have certain feelings for emotions, but unfortunately, we live in a world where people don't care. It's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's about what a person can capitalize off of. And as long as people understand that you have to set your feelings aside and become economically focused and get into the game. Because if you don't and you just decide to, let your feelings overwhelm how you feel emotionally about certain things, then you'll never get ahead in life.
Definitely, definitely. It's something that I've said, I don't know for how long, it's how people get carried away in their feelings and don't focus on what's ahead. And it's like I said, being too in touch. And there's nothing wrong with feeling, it's just that you have to learn how to keep them controlled to a degree and understand where they're coming from. And that's why I always, always, always bring people back to emotional and mental health. Okay, it's time for you guys to start embracing and normalizing therapy. It's needed. Okay, if you go to the dentist when one of your teeth chips, or when you have a cavity, or you need your wisdom tooth removed, then you must go to the therapist when you go through hard times, okay, or you're feeling some type of way. So I'm gonna let you continue, Rakim. What do you think about the whole gentrification situation?
I think you're absolutely correct as far as, and, I'm not here to say that I'm perfect because when I was a young kid growing up, I would toss trash around as well because at that time that's what I saw. But when I unlearned that mentality, I learned to have a better appreciation for where I live, and I would even help pick up trash in certain areas. Some of these people, they don't teach their children well. Their children don't have any home training. Therefore, it's no respect in the area because we know a lot of people in these areas are not homeowners, they rent. So they tend to not have some, not all people, but some people tend to not have a respect for the area, and they'll just throw trash everywhere, let their dogs crap everywhere. And I agree with what you were saying. If we was to take an initiative where we're able to invest in our own property and be able to keep our neighborhoods upscale, then it'll be difficult to move people out more because when you look at the way things are, you don't see Chinatowns being gentrified.
Yep.
Anywhere where it's an economic enclave, there's not going to be much gentrification because the people own and control the businesses within that area. The aldermans that they've put in place have their best interests at heart. So you're not going to see much of a negotiation when it comes to gentrification in those areas because economically they control those areas. And for us, we have to understand that we have to be economically focused if we want to make a change. Otherwise, if we take advantage of if we don't take advantage of that situation, then other people, outsiders, are going to come in and they're going to take advantage. And a lot of people don't pay attention to where they live. You have to look, do you live 15, 20 minutes from your downtown area? Do you live by water? Well, if you do, then that's prime real estate. Now, if that is a barrio or if that's a ghetto at this particular moment, sooner or later, people are going to have a vested interest in that area and they're going to come and move you out because you're economically disenfranchised. So it's important for people to focus on that and focus on getting together, becoming a community, and work on, like you said, work on the different homes, purchasing homes, and find the nearest street within your strip of your neighborhood that goes east and west, and start building businesses on that street, and that's how build a community. Now it's not all black and white like I'm saying it, but you have to take steps. You have to start small so you can grow.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Start the homeowners associations and all kinds of stuff, but that's something for another day. Because I'm thinking about making this a series as well. Now I'm going to move to Real Deal and then to Sundown. Real Deal, how are you?
Everything is good. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. What do you think? What's your take on the topic?
I agree with the last gentleman that pretty much said if you're in waterfront area or 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from downtown, it's a prime area. Chicago has the same thing. The University of Chicago and the Chicago Bulls owner wants to take over the housing projects that's literally 20 minutes away. A couple years ago, San Pedro, California has waterfront area, and that got developed as well. So, like he said, that pretty much those areas is prime opportunity. Where the LA Rams play before the stadium came, so that super stadium houses with 150,000. Now there's 750. Nipsey Hussle's old
Definitely.
neighborhood, same thing as well. Same thing as well. So, uh,
Yeah, definitely.
people need to focus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. People need to focus on and stop being in the emotions and being tossed around and actually take some action. Because if
Cause
like I
it,
said, if you better, even it's nice that you brought up the example of Nipsey Hussle. For all of you guys that don't know who Nipsey Hussle was, Nipsey Hussle was a rapper that was buying real estate in his own neighborhood in the ghetto here in Crenshaw and started developing it. And because that specific neighborhood is being developed by other corporations and being gentrified, with what used to be Leimert Park and all this area that was black owned, um, after he got killed, now all of his work is going basically backwards to a degree because it's not being owned by himself or by nobody of substance that can accomplish what Nipsey Hussle was doing. But definitely Nipsey Hussle was a smart person by buying all the real estate he bought here in the Crenshaw neighborhood in California. So continue,
but but
Rudel.
another but another thing that people can't really stop gentrification because $10 billion is being placed, and also the Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert is going to Chicago and Detroit as well. So pretty much, only thing you can really do is help. Like how I pretty much got it, people on my subscribers is kind of find the development properties for the developers to be able to develop on and get a fee from it. It's called wholesaling, assignment, dispositions. Those are the terms for it. But you have to be able to benefit because if you don't benefit, then you pretty much get put to the
Pushed out.
wayside.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm telling people. Why you're not the person that develops your area and sell it by for an inflated price. Why do we have to sit like sitting dogs waiting for the imminent thing to happen? We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that, and it's time for us to take some accountability and some responsibility for our own neighborhoods if we want to do things smartly and not be gentrified, because that's the only reason why we're being pushed out one way or the other. So I'm gonna leave
Hmm.
you, Real Deal, and I'm gonna move to Sundown. Sundown, welcome to Latin Explaining. How are you? Sundown? I think Sundown got taken away by the gentrifiers. Anyway, well, Sundown continues.
Yo, can
I'm
you hear me?
gonna. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Sundown. What's your
God, I
take on
hate this.
today's topic?
Um, so I mean, we all kind of touched on base. We all kind of touched or made good points. So, real deal. Didn't they do the same thing, or aren't they doing the same thing out there in Detroit, where they're trying to bring some like is it a stadium out there in Detroit that they're trying to build, and when they build that, the property value is going to go up.
Yes, yes, because Dan Gilbert is in charge of a fund that's pretty much doing it. So the fund is $10 billion. So it's going to be spread around from Chicago, Milwaukee, Detroit. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, South Pittsburgh, pretty much even certain developments in parts of New Jersey. So they're gonna do that, and they're gonna be able to put some more commercial areas and some big entertainment area hubs. So um,
Yeah.
anything around stadiums, period, man. So
Yeah, sure, sure. I know Mercedes-Benz Stadium out in Atlanta. If you was getting like an apartment, you were spending at least even for like a studio apartment, you were spending $2,300 a month just by Mercedes-Benz Stadium because it was a stadium right there. I know. So Rakim had made a good point, or well, we all made a good point about the littering. There's little there's little instances that start to lower your property value in your area, and one of them is littering. And it's something as small as littering. People throwing their stuff on people throwing their stuff on the floor. I've seen people. There's a trash can like 10 feet away, and they'll just dump their stuff out on the ground and won't even walk 10 feet to put it in the trash. And it's little things like that. People will see that, and people will be like, "Man, I'm not gonna go around that area. That area is trash."
Yeah.
And slowly, 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 it starts to trickle, and other things happen, crime, and then that brings the property value down. And then people are looking for that. As soon as the property value goes down, that's when companies come in or foreigners come in. They buy properties, or they put a corner store on one end of the block, and then they put another corner store on the other end. And slowly, slowly, they start to push the inhabitants of that area out. So it's little things like that that people don't realize contributes to gentrification.
Yeah.
Trash,
Definitely.
something as small as littering.
Yeah.
And we used to do things for like volunteer work in the military. We have these things called like enlisted performance reports where you basically do things and then they rate you.
Mhm.
And I used to do a lot of volunteer work where I would go to like cities and I would just help pick up trash. And it's just amazing how much just trash itself just accumulates, and it brings rats, rodents, all this other stuff. It's just crazy. And it's like you have to educate people. And it's like it starts with something as simple as throwing your trash on the ground. It starts to bring your property value down just a little bit. But yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Oh,
Definitely. Go ahead.
and I was saying something to Laura Hokage, and please don't judge me. I feel like just like when you know how like animals when they get overpopulated, they get the green light so you can hunt them so that you can bring that population down.
Hmm.
Feel like it's a lot of worthless human beings out there that need to be purged as well.
Oh my
It'll
God.
it'll 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 help humanity. It'll help humanity advance. It'll help.
I agree with
It,
you. Trust me. We need to
yeah, it'll
push
help.
out that. Yeah. There's some people that are just a lost cause. And that's the reason why I said many times I don't speak for 100% of the population. I know I'm only talking to 10%, because unfortunately 90% of the population are not going to understand that the majority of the problems that they go through are manufactured by themselves. So, of course, trust me, I agree with you in everything that you said. Now I see that music only account said, should I little expensive areas to make them affordable? And he said, I am the foreigner. And then he said, purge all low IQ people. Oh
No,
my
believe it or
God.
not, there's some areas where the people really are dedicated to their communities, and if they see you litter, they'll beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, yeah.
They
I've seen
will.
it here. I've seen it here. You throw a little piece of trash somewhere that's the wrong community. Oh, you're gonna feel it. You're going to feel
Yeah,
it. But then somehow in different neighborhoods, it's not like that.
yeah.
You
It
know?
was like that in Germany, in Italy. They were really big on that. Like, I dare you to go downtown and get done with your food, get up and just leave it on the table. They will beat the shit out of you for that.
Yeah.
or throw your dirt on throw your stuff on the ground. But
Yeah.
the carabinieri, because that's like a Italian equivalent to police. The
If you
carabinieri
go,
beat the shit out of you. They'll
if
smack you.
you go even to Benedict Canyon here, that's like the rural area of Beverly Hills. That is literally just mountains and stuff. If you go up there and smoke a cigarette, you will get fined. Imagine how these people are like cautious and caring for their neighborhood. It's up to us. It's like I said, we have to start forming this, either an association, a foundation, an organization. I don't care what you got to do, but don't come at me with the whole crying for gentrification if you have not put 2 cents into saving your community so that it can be the best version of itself. Now I'm going to move to closing statements. You guys know I like to keep this short. Now I'm gonna go to Jose, Terrell, Real Deal, Rakim, and then Sundown.
Well, first of all, thank you, Denise, for allowing me to be part of this stream. And as always, you bring forth solid information. The fact of the matter is, we can change the environment of our neighborhoods. And it just starts with a group of people taking care of their building. If we have one group taking care of their building, it will spread to two, three, four, five. And then before you know it, we'll be cleaning up the barrio.
Yeah,
But it starts with a small group. And basically, a lot of the stuff we have to take account for the fact that that there's a lot of mess outside. Unfortunately, when I was living in Niger, I mean, the people treated the buildings like it was a toilet. I mean, but it's something that is fixable. It's just that we have to have the determination to do our part. And if a group of six can do it, then it becomes a group of 12, 18, 20, and what have you. Before you know it, a whole neighborhood it's cleaned up.
yeah,
So thank you very much. And I'm glad to hear from you guys. Of course, I'm going to close the same way I'm going to close. People, please be careful out there because there are mentally and intellectually challenged people who do not understand what's being said. And if we get too close to these people, we would be infected by their stupidity.
definitely, definitely. I agree with you, Jose, 100%. Now I'm going to put you backstage. Don't go anywhere, Terrell. Any last thoughts? Any final thoughts on today's topic?
Well, I feel like there's is a way to prevent gentrification, which is that we can clean up our neighborhoods, buy up houses, buy up businesses, start new businesses, and take care of them. Because if we don't, like you said, people gonna come in, take over, and push us out. Because we do gotta take care of our neighborhoods as a community. We cannot just let it run down. And anytime there's a problem, we do need to take it to our landlords or the city council because those are our neighborhoods that where we have to live. We probably don't have nowhere else to live, and we got treated and care for it just as much as other communities do because what one person see as trash, another person gonna see as their precious treasure and gonna take over it because they everyday people looking for new ways to make money, and anytime they see something that is cheap, they will buy up, and then wherever they pay for it, they're going to triple it in profits because everything is about money. And today in this world, with COVID happening, housing prices are going up, people being affected, and those same houses that people being affected out of, somebody going to come back and buy it since, foreclosures and everything. But yep, gentrification is real, and we do gotta look after our community. And we also cannot let anybody else come in there and trash it. We gotta take care of it, and everybody gotta do their part one thing they need to do is start putting trash cans everywhere around every corner and
Definitely.
teaching people to put trash cans. Don't throw away their trash. Do not do illegal dumping. Don't just dump your trash everywhere. Cause I work at a grocery store. I see people every when I have to work early in the morning since 7 o'clock. I have to pick up trash from the parking lot and around the fence area around trees, and I see people throw away all kinds of trash, diapers, dead bugs in the in the parking lot. They drove away old boxes, furniture, parts from cars, gas cans, and
All
people.
kinds of stuff. All
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
yeah,
And
people.
that ends up sometimes even in the sea.
Yeah,
Killing and poisoning the same fish we want to eat later. So
yeah.
definitely I agree with you, Terrell. Thank you
People
very
just
much.
don't care, Denise, and they do
Yeah.
pollute the water all the times. I
Yeah.
just read one story the other day on YouTube where people they got hospital companies and some
Mhm.
companies that go into the oceans and dump trash like diabetes syringes into the water and they just dump it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, they
Definitely.
the whole earth gonna be polluted and gonna be uninhabitable in the future. They keep doing this because global warming, pollution is destroying the earth, and we gotta take better care of earth. I'm proud to
Definitely.
be on your channel, and also proud to be on your other channel too, because I can bring up some good topics and stories to talk about, and you do a good job bringing these topics to the YouTube channel, and hope I be part of your channel many more in the future. And I about said all right, and he said, good to see you and everyone else on here today.
Yeah, you too, Terrell. I'm gonna put you backstage. Thank you very much for joining my stream. Don't go anywhere. Now, real deal. Any final thoughts about today's topic?
People should always focus on understanding economics, always look at macroeconomics, figure out what is bank statement loans are, focus on fixing your credit, understand how to be able to work with developers, find certain deals for them. Because I don't see it happening. To be honest, I'm not anti-development. I'm not anti. You use the term gentrification due to the fact that a lot of people that actually own the homes get cashed out. The problem is there's so many renters in the area. But only thing I could say is become a merchant, focus on capturing transactions, and don't become a victim. Don't be on the mercy of other people. Pretty much what I'm saying. But I'm
Yeah,
done.
but if you think about it, the renting situation is because a lot of people come into a neighborhood that they don't pursue purchasing anything there because they have their side in buying a house in a better neighborhood. Most people think when they move into the barrio of getting out. So that's why they decide to rent and not set roots in there when it's still cheap. That's why they rent. And that's the problem. Now that they're being pushed out, it's time to own when it's cheap so that you don't have to rent when it's being gentrified. And I'm gonna put you backstage real deal. But definitely, yeah, it's something that people need to understand. The concept of getting out of the barrio, it's something that's very tricky to do. And if you're not really trying to put in the work as you should, don't even think about it. This is reality. Buy in the barrio because that's where you can afford. Now I'm gonna let Rakim and then Sundown go. Rakim, final thoughts on today's topic.
Okay, my final thoughts is that what people need to understand is that here in the United States of America, this is a monopoly game, and you need to understand what type of funds that you have, what type of funds that you're starting off with, because you have to be able to analyze things from a factual perspective, from being able to understand how far can your money stretch and what can you do with your money. Just like you were saying early in the stream, if you have Oklahoma money, then you may have to move to Oklahoma. Now, I
Mhm.
know a lot of African Americans or blacks and Latinos in general, we come from families where, you may have, your father may be, or your parents may be immigrants, or your parents might have came from down south where most people are not uh, most people are not educated financially on how to do things here. Well, it comes to a point where we have to try to learn as much as we can. There's not really any excuses anymore. We all have internet devices within our phones where we're able to Google things, we're able to search things for information to be able to educate ourselves when it comes to money. And if we don't do something about this situation as far as home ownership and owning businesses within our neighborhoods, then we can't get mad that when our neighborhoods are being gentrified by outside uh, real estate investors and outside developers who will come in. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Rakim. Definitely, yes. It's something that, I agree with you 100%. And thank you for repeating it. Like I said, I do not care about your feelings when it comes to where you're going to live. If you have Oklahoma money, you're going to Oklahoma. If you have Waco, Texas money, you have Waco, Texas money, and that's where you're going to live. Like I said, it's time for us to start being adults and grown-ups and take accountability for our reality. Now, I'm going to go to Sundown and then I will say my final thoughts. Sundown, final thoughts on today's topic.
I just want to say thank you for letting me on. As always, you drop a lot of knowledge. I feel like you drop a lot of stuff that's needed to be heard. I know a lot of people, come at you, but that's because they like to be in echo chambers and they don't like to have the truth put out there. Um, as far as my closing statement, I will say, look, it's a pretty simple fix. I think people tend to make it more difficult than it needs to be. If you really want to stop gentrification from happening, support your people's businesses, invest in your people. It becomes a lot harder for an area to get gentrified when everybody is together as a collective. When everybody supports each other, they don't litter, they take care of their property, they actually have businesses from their own people. So, like if you're black and you support black businesses, if you're Dominican and you support Dominican businesses, or if you're Mexican, it's harder for those areas to get gentrified when that happens because everybody is together as a collective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. It's something as simple as that. But I think a lot of times people tend to get money and leave to areas that don't really need them, that are well off without them, and then they leave their own people. And then when they leave their own people, that's when other people come in, buy up areas, and the next thing you know, the people that look like you are getting pushed out. So,
Definitely.
but
Definitely.
other than that, thank you for having me on as always.
No, no, thank you for joining in. I'm going to put you backstage, Sundowns. Thank you very much for your input. And definitely, yes, small things like I believe Rakim was saying, you don't see Chinatown or Koreatown being gentrified. And it's simply because these communities bounce their money in their own community and also keep them clean. So it's like I said, don't come at me with the whole gentrification excuse. I don't want to hear it from now on. If you don't want to be gentrified, then you have to understand that you have to not give the county a vulnerability or an excuse to do quote unquote improvements that are needed in your area. So how do you do that? You keep your stuff clean. Okay, it's not what you have, it's how you have it. So and don't come at me with the, oh, I don't know how to build this, I don't know how to build that. Come on now. If I could learn how to work with wood by YouTube and I am a woman, you can learn how to build from whoever. I don't care if you have to watch a lot of YouTube videos, if you have to ask actual builders, if you have to go to Home Depot and ask questions. Ask those questions. That's how we learn new things. So it's time for us to take responsibility for our barrio instead of letting things happen what will just get blown by the wind like a piece of paper. Also, it's time for us to start enforcing the no litter rule, starting from people we know, family members we know. If you have a brother, a sister, an aunt, a grandma that loves to litter, you know that family member that is in complete disregard of nature and the neighborhood. Make sure that you make them aware of what they're doing with their little litter and their trash and whatnot. And also reach out to your local politicians like mayors and stuff, and see what programs or organizations you can start to volunteer for your community, because we owe our communities our time. If we don't want to get gentrified, if we don't want to see our people going through this is the only freaking way. Now, I want to tell you guys before I leave, tomorrow I might have a hangout at No Bullshit. Unfortunately, I have not confirmed the presence of all aboard with me, so it's just going to be me. But I promise you guys, I will bring you my best. It's going to be lit. Tomorrow, we're going to have our wine, we're going to have our seltzers because we cannot get fatter. So definitely bring in your energy, your sense of humor, and check your sensitivity at the door if you're going to join No Bullshits. Hang out tomorrow. Make sure you're going to be there. It's going to start at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely, guys, I see you tomorrow. It's been a pleasure. I wish you guys a very nice evening, a very nice weekend. Stay productive. Do not litter. Make sure your community looks good. Make sure that you organize with your fellow neighbors and friends and family, and make sure that you hold yourself accountable, because guess what? It's time to clean the barrio. This has been another episode of Latin Explaining with Denise. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.